Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's going on here in the greater Concord area, talking with some of our distinguished citizens. And today I'm pleased to have with me Chris Pappas, as you well know, Mr. Kiwanis. And we're not talking about the fair so much for this year yet. They'll be coming back on, they will, in a couple of weeks as they get ready for this year's big fair at the Everett Arena. But I've got Chris in here just to talk about some things in Concord that he's been here such a long time, and changes over the year, and just having a good old chat with him. And how
We
many
have
years?
seen many changes, Dick.
Now you did the fair. You're not chairman this year, of course. But
I've been chairman for a couple of years, but
yeah,
I'm always involved.
yeah, I know. You and Chuck Averill down there. But I wonder what the weather's going to be like this year.
Last year it was great. We had 4 straight great
Yes,
days.
you lucked out.
One of
yeah.
our better years.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you know, we've had sleet, freezing rain,
Oh,
snow
God,
flurries,
I know it.
heat, cold, you name it. We've
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah.
And almost guaranteed one of those 4 days is not a good day, but
I know.
we were very
I always
fortunate
do.
last year.
But,
So it worked out great.
Yeah. We were talking about recently. I was discovered because Concord's lost a lot of traditions over the years. It's sad that some of the things we used to have or used to do, we don't see them much anymore, or they've stopped them completely. And one of them was this Easter egg hunt that I didn't know that the recreation and parks stopped because of budget purposes 2 years ago.
Always been at White's Park.
Well,
Always
all
had a
the
big
neighborhood
crowd.
parks, yeah. So I was really upset because the Grange, I have offered for several years the Grange to help out if they needed it, especially with the Heights one. And I always got told, no, thank you, we don't need you, and we're all set. So, well, then when I found this, I called David and I said, why in the world weren't we notified? I guess I didn't see it in the paper 2 years ago that you cut that out of the budget. So the Grange next year is going to spearhead it next year for the Heights area. And if we can expand it, we will. But we're going to go back doing it for the kids. It'll be in April next year and see what happens. But, that was always a big deal for the kids. Bring their baskets and try to collect eggs, and the gold egg there, which was a prize.
Hopefully yours will stay more local on the Heights instead of drawing
Yeah.
from the entire city.
Well, I know,
the
but
park would be overwhelmed.
oh yeah, and I've had a lot of people who spoke to me already said they'd like to help out next year to get it to other parts too. I said that's fine, but I said I can't do the whole city at first. I said I want to do the Heights and to see how it goes and make plans after that. But because I would like to bring the Friday night one back for the teenagers. They used to have the flashlight one or something up at White's Park for the kids, for the teenagers. And maybe I could do something like that. But, it's just sad because...
You'd be at the forefront to do it over here next year for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But, it's like everything else, when a lot of things are getting ready for Memorial Day next month in May, and I was so sad because there was an Eagle Scout who did the street names up in Blossom Hill. It was his Eagle project, and they took all the signposts down because 911 told the city they couldn't have them because it was duplicate names in some cases. And
The signs themselves were not
they were in a
in
cemetery.
conformance.
No, because some of the names were like names of streets in the city. But anyway, I thought, well, that's odd, but I suppose. So I said to Jill, I said, are we going to have the signs back up? And she said, yes, they're going to put them back, but they got to come up with some new names to put on them.
We did have a lot of similar names. Concord Center Street,
Yeah.
Pennacook Center
Oh, yeah,
Street.
those there I could see.
There were Washington Streets
Oh,
in
yes.
both.
Yeah.
So we had many, many duplicates.
Elm Street was in both areas.
Sure.
And, but, it's funny because it just...
For 911 purposes.
Yeah.
It's the right way to go.
Because it was nice up there in Blossom Hill to have those names, because so many times when you're trying to find a grave up there and they'll someone say, well, it's up near the pond, or go past the pond, up and back, and all this. Well,
Good luck.
then you got Calvary right next door, and you don't even know you're in Calvary really until you start seeing the crosses, the crucifixes, and all that. But
Right.
you know, so those signs were really helpful, and that young man, did a nice job. But anyway, we're hoping that they'll be put back up soon, and especially in time for Memorial Day.
Now, the other thing we need to also discuss is the gas house.
I know.
As you remember, we used to have the big silver
Yeah,
tank that used to rise and fall
really.
as gas was
I
needed.
forgot that.
And that got torn down. There's nothing there now, but we still have the round brick
Yeah, I mean,
gas house.
yeah, that's very unique. I mean, there really isn't any other building like that in the city, or I don't know if there's one in the state.
So the question that we ask is it worth the gas company to
I know.
restore it?
Yeah,
And are they going to allow people to go in and look at it?
yeah.
Is there adequate parking? Probably not.
No, not down that area.
I'm sure it's a thorn in their side when they merged all the gas companies and they took over.
Yeah,
They probably didn't know they were getting this big white elephant.
yeah, because we've always seen it there, and I never really knew what it was for, but it was a landmark in Concord.
It made gas.
Really, that's
and
what
all,
it was.
and
Huh?
all the carbon and the coal that's inside.
Really?
I guess it's just a little thorn, but
Yeah.
we hate to lose any of those things that we've had in Concord.
You know, the other day, back a month ago, I was thinking of you because with Washington's birthday, and of course the car sales and all that stuff, you know, I remember you working at Grapponi's all those years. Somebody just asked me recently if you were still there, and I said, no, he's retired. You were at Grapponi's how many
Year and a
years?
half ago, 37 years.
Wow. And I said, no, he's retired. He was there a long time. But I can remember as a kid, well, we would go drive around the different car lots and balloons and door prizes and popcorn or hot dogs. You name it, they had it, boy. And you saw all the pictures in the paper for Washington's birthday sales. That's when Washington's birthday was Washington's birthday, not
Sure
like it is
was.
now. But yeah, that was a big deal back those days.
I was president of the Concord Auto Dealers Association the last year that we had the champagne dinner dance at the New Hampshire Highway Hotel.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And there were over 1,000 people. Of course, we had the main ballroom, plus we had the smaller ballroom. And they were full, and every table, of course, had 2 bottles of champagne. It was truly a champagne dinner dance.
Isn't that something?
And that was the thank you for all the people that bought cars during those 10 days, the 2 weekends. But Washington's birthday was
Yeah.
quite big.
Oh, yeah.
We planned for it. Everything, cars was spick and span. We always had refreshments. There was always popcorn,
Oh, yeah.
hot dogs,
Yeah.
cherry pies.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We used to buy them from Table Talk, and
Really?
it was quite a thing at the time. And the following week is when we would have the champagne dinner dance, the big band sound. It was quite thrilling to be involved. Unfortunately, it went by the wayside.
Yeah.
It got very expensive to feed 1,200 people.
Wow. My goodness gracious.
And the 2 big dealerships in town, of course, was Bank Chevrolet and Grapponi's.
Yeah.
And so 2/3 of that hall was just our people. And we had Rick Novo and, of
Yeah.
course, Carlson's, Joe Lindsay with Dodge.
Yeah, Capital Dodge.
It was a great affair.
It's funny because you mentioned that now, the names there, Rick Novo with the Mercury Garage over there on Loudon Road at the time, corner of Loudon Road and Thomas Street. You'd never know there was a car dealership there now. And then across the street was, well, on the other side of the street was the Heights Market and a barber shop and a ladies' beauty salon. And then, of course, he sold that when they expanded Hazen Drive area and moved it over to Manchester Street. And, of course, then he sold out to Mariano.
Right.
But he just passed away, I understand.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
His TV commercials still show him.
Yes, I thought that, yeah.
They're still playing his ads.
Yeah.
But when Heights Market moved down to their present place by the park, and of course Booney Longley had his place across the street
Yeah.
on the corner of East Side Drive.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Longley store.
And Tom Collins.
Tom Collins store is
The
up there
general
by where the
store.
Irving station is. Yeah.
I went to school with John McCachran from Knoll Crest
Did
Gardens.
you really?
So we always remember Knoll Crest Gardens.
Where is John McCachran these days? I haven't seen him in ages.
Don't know.
Yeah. I know because they were the only florist on the Heights at that time. Then there was one that came in down by where the auto parts place is there by right across from McDonald's. There was a Heights Garden Center there. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a florist shop and garden center. And they also rented out. You could rent a 2-seater bicycle for a half hour, and it was I think either $1 or $2 to rent a two-seater bicycle.
That must have been a lot of money.
So my sister and I did that one. I think it was we did that one night. We rented just for the sake of it because my folks were over to the laundromat doing their laundry. So we went down in and rented a bicycle, and we thought we were a big deal on a two-seater bicycle to do that. But yeah, it was funny because and you know, you talk about the cars, and of course Mercury has never come back. Lincoln still is in, but Plymouth and DeSoto and
And of course Pontiac.
Oldsmobile. Yes, Pontiac and Oldsmobile. There was one other, Studebaker. You know,
At our car show, I do have to tell you, the Studebaker Club has about 30, maybe 35 Studebakers.
Really?
And even though there are car shows throughout the year, but they use the Kiwanis Car Show as their final big push where everybody gets together. And they pick one car show where everybody goes to, and our car show is the one.
Really?
Many, many Studebakers.
I remember Dr. Helligan. We always knew what kind of a car he was in because his office was on North State Street. It's the yellow brick one that was across from the Concord Monitor building at that time. Still same color. He never painted it, nothing. But he always had a DeSoto. That was his car, a DeSoto. So.
And if you remember, Chrysler Company also had an Imperial.
That's right too. Yeah,
that was the Highline car for Chrysler.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah, the Imperial. Yeah. But it's funny, all the things that used to be. And of course, at one time your fair was always in June, and then they moved it back to May.
Had to move it up.
Yeah.
We had conflicts with high school graduations, with proms.
Oh yeah.
Which is a good segment of the kids that come down to the fair.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And we're the Everett Arena. Dick, do you also remember where Lane's Garage was? The big field behind King Shopping Center.
Yes.
Where there was a traveling carnival.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a huge field back then. It
Yeah.
still is.
Oh yes.
It's a big cornfield now.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a circus, wasn't it, that come in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big circus. That
Besides the small one that used to be behind Keniston's.
Yes, there was a
on Manchester Street.
small carnival that would come in there. I know, because we would ride by, and of course the merry-go-round was covered up and the other rides were covered, but we always wondered what was going on there, who had it, because they were there just for a couple of days. But every that was the thing, and when spring came, it seemed like every store, like First National, when they moved down to Hall Street, that area, Water Street, they would have a carnival in their lot. Grand Union up there in where Santander Bank is or whatever up on North State Street, they had a carnival up in there. Then shopping center, Brits, Capital Shopping, they would have a carnival down there.
Yeah,
Walmart would have one.
traveling
Yeah.
carnivals where
Yeah,
they
little
would go.
traveling carnivals would come around, and they would all then the fair would come in, and that would be it. We wouldn't see any more carnivals because then the country fair season would start up in July or whatever. But it was fun. I mean, they only had what 4 or 5 rides or something.
Just enough to get it out of your system.
Yeah, they had the Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round. I remember they had for the kids these boats. They were on like almost like the tilt-a-whirl, but they were boats. They were for kids, and there probably was a couple more rides, maybe the tilt-a-whirl, but yeah.
Well, growing up, Dick, we always went to the St. John's lawn party
Yes, I
and
remember
the
that.
St. Peter's lawn party up on Bradley Street.
Oh yes, I don't remember that one, but I remember St. John's. They had was rides down there and stuff. Yeah.
At our original Kiwanis Fair, when we moved down to the arena, the East Concord Lamplighters used
They-
to have their own booths.
Yeah, and they would
Down
have
there.
they would have a fair in September. There was always cold,
At the
cooler.
park.
Yeah, down at Merrill Park, they would have their event, and I think I think the Lamplighters are gone now. I don't think they're even in
I
existence anymore.
never hear anything about them.
No, I don't either. I don't even really know what they were for a group, but
Dick, we never thought of anything about riding our bikes to East Concord or all around Concord or
Yeah.
West Park.
Oh, I know.
And wherever you left your bike, you could come back 3 or 4 hours later.
Mm,
It'd still be there.
yeah, yeah, it's
Or
true.
if we went to the movies, to the Concord Theater or the Star Theater,
I know.
you leave your bike on the sidewalk or in the alley, guaranteed it would still be there.
Paul Brogan he talks a lot about the Concord Theater and what a shame it is how it's gone downhill, and there's just nothing. Nobody seems to want to reopen it, renovate it, or whatever else.
It's a shame it could be used for some venue somewhere.
I know, it seems like it.
Even though we have a new theater now opening up at the Steeplegate Mall.
Yes, now that's not going to be a movie theater though.
No, they're
I
going to
mean-
have a play of some type.
Yeah, and I'm just a little surprised because there was a gentleman from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, who bought the Rumford School to put on different plays or artisans who wanted to do their talents. And Kimball Jenkins Estate with their stuff, but this one here seems like this is going to be another one where you could either have a music concert or a play, or I don't know. I don't know how often they're going to.
It's in a very small storefront, so hopefully they'll
Oh, really?
they'll do okay. The shopping mall certainly needs something to entice people.
Well, the problem
come
too,
back.
Chris, is the fact is that there's no food court there yet. They took it out.
The only thing there, Dick, is Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that's all it is. They took out the pizza place, the hamburger place is gone. Even the pretzels there, there's nothing left there. So people want to eat, they're not going to stay there. There's no food.
Coffee and donuts. That's all. It's.
I know. And we were talking, we had at our meeting the other night, we had the fire chief there, and we were talking about brush fires. And he said that this is probably going to be a very bad brush fire season in this area. And I said, well, I can remember a few years ago when we had them up on the heights here, where the mall sits. And Shaw's, that was always brush fire alley up there. You could always count on a good old brush fire boy going through there and jumping Loudon Road to Portsmouth Street or Old Loudon Road and on 106 maybe.
That whole area with the Steeplegate Mall is. When our kids were small, we used to bring them up there for picking blueberries
Yeah,
by the pounds and
Really?
pounds. There was such a wide open brush area.
Mm.
And you're right, it's a great area for a brush fire, and there always was.
Mm.
Something was always going on.
Do you remember what was down on Manchester Street by Black Hill Road, just before the outdoor theater? Was that where Steenbeck's was? Or they were somewhere. Remember Steenbeck's?
Yes.
They weren't they. I know on Loudon Road, Major Rod had a business up there, down where that little strip mall now is, where Old Loud Road comes out. But didn't now who bought him out? Was that Steenbeck's or was that Grossman's?
Could have been Grossman's was down a ways,
Yeah,
just before the Harvard restaurant on the right.
that's okay. That's where it was then. Okay, yes, the Harvard. That was quite the place. I remember that boy. Oh boy, Friday and Saturday nights, you could always tell the police are up there every minute. The old Harvard restaurant.
They had a resident policeman, I think, up there all the time.
Oh yeah, especially Friday and Saturday nights. There was on Facebook the other day. They had a picture of Keniston's, and there were a lot of comments about that and how people remembered it and the restaurant there and the Macris
Keniston's,
family.
then Chris Botchus opened up the A&W,
Yeah,
a
Sophie.
root beer place.
Yeah, Sophie. Yeah. Yeah, you press that little button there and put your order in, and they'd come out and everything else. And
So you could eat there just in time to go to the Concord
that's
Drive-In
right. Go
Theater,
to Concord Drive-In.
see
Yeah.
a double feature.
Yeah.
And every so often they'd have Dusk to Dawn movies.
Mm.
Show 4 movies in a row.
Really.
If you could stay up.
Oh yeah. I wonder what's out in there. Is it all
Just overgrown.
There's no building still out in there. Of course, the big screen is down, gone, but
Gone. I think the footings are still there, but being in the floodplain,
mm,
I don't know what could go in there unless they built up the ground.
yeah,
It'd require a lot of fill.
yeah. But I remember they had the refreshment stand there. You can go in there during intermission and buy food and stuff. But that was quite the place. The old Concord Drive-In.
Well, across from Keniston's is where Joe Briette, his dad Clarence Briette, had a used car lot.
Mm.
That was the entrance going into the Concord Drive-In Theater.
Oh really?
And before that, it was a Chrysler dealership
Oh no.
that from Manchester, the family that had the Chrysler Plymouth dealership down there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, and then you had Champ's Market, or Champney's outdoor market down there. Champney's.
Do you remember when what was at Bank Chevrolet before Dave Banks moved
No,
up?
no.
That was the chicken poultry building,
Oh really? Oh, I didn't know that.
and Dave Banks bought it when M.D. Ross Chevrolet was across the street from the Capitol Theater,
Oh really?
which is now the Smart Building, but
Yeah.
that's where the Chevrolet place was.
Oh wow.
And down where Mickey Finn's used to be, in that building where Goodyear was, that was the original Ford garage. Ralph George Ford.
I do remember now that one up there. You said Ross was it or something? I do
M.D.
remember.
Ross.
I do remember that now. The dealership was in there. Yeah. That's like down there by Water Street where the CVS. There was a dealership in there too.
Yeah,
Remember
Croponi
right?
Ford.
That's where they were down there.
Yeah, before that, I believe it was Keegan Contrucci
All right.
had a Dodge dealership.
And there was a Chinese restaurant. That Hawaiian Isle was in there after
Yeah. They were there for quite a while.
that. Yeah. Wow.
And before First National moved in, that was the girls' home.
Really?
And then First National bought it and they had a big grand opening. That was quite the thing when
Mm.
First National moved from Main Street,
Yeah.
when we had Concord Public Market,
Yeah.
the Mohegan Market,
Mm.
and the A&P on
Oh
Park
yeah, remember
Street.
A&P? Yeah.
Those were the 4 big stores.
Yeah.
Besides all the corner grocery stores,
I know.
and there was no big supermarkets. They were all concentrated downtown.
Now somebody on my show last week or so never remembered the Super Duper. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Yeah, they didn't remember
There
that.
was Samson's
Yeah.
and Super Duper.
Super Duper was where First
IGA.
National was. Yeah, IGA.
They had four different owners. Then Grand Union went in. First it was Champagne's.
Yeah.
Then they changed the name to Grand Union. Actually, I think there were probably 6 different companies that were in that building.
Wow. Polly Susan. That was another big pastry
Before
place.
that supermarket was built, Mayor McKee, his home used to be on that particular plot of land.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And they had a carriage house, and the underneath where they had the canopy, it was a beautiful old house. And it got torn down for the first supermarket.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
And as usual, all the old houses where Sovereign Bank is now, there used to be a beautiful old house on that corner. But once you leave that intersection, all the houses are still the same.
Yep.
They're all built from 1900s to probably 1940. So we've seen a lot of changes.
And I forgot too, seeing that the landmark, Corner View closing.
They are closed.
Yeah, before that there was a fish market there out around the corner, and I forgot about
Redmond's.
that. I forgot
Redmond's
about
Fish
that.
Market.
Yeah, I forgot that. You can get fried fish or whatever. That was good.
Yeah, and he sold out to Joe Capola.
Oh, really?
Joe Capola owned it. And before it was a fish market, Clyde Wilbur was in that particular store.
Oh, I thought he
Then
was
he
across
moved
the
across the street,
Yeah,
and he
okay.
built the big hardware store.
Yes.
But Clyde started out in a small corner,
Oh, for gosh sake.
and the laundromat, where R.K. Rudy Company,
Yeah.
Concord Cleaners had their laundromat,
Mm.
which probably was one of the first,
Wow.
maybe the second laundromat in Concord.
That's something, huh?
And right next to the laundromat on Clinton Street was Timon's Market. Timon's Market had a Saucony Mobile sign out front, and across the street on the other corner was Dewdrop Inn. It sold ice cream. And
Dewdrop
going
Inn.
up South Street after Dewdrop Inn was Stevenson's outdoor fruit. Then, of course, Polly Susan.
Yes, I know. Polly Susan was that was a good place.
Now, up here on the Heights, you had Nick Molanus
Yeah, with Betsy's
with
Bakery.
Betsy's.
Yeah, Betsy's Bakery on the.
Very popular
Yeah.
bakery.
She was, yeah. I remember getting baked beans in there and brown bread or whatever it was. But Janet's Donuts on West Street, of course, that was the place to go.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Yeah, the donuts are fantastic.
Full cake donuts.
Yes. There we go. Boy, those jelly donuts were good. Honey dip.
They always gave samples, all the little donut holes.
I know.
If you walked in with a child of any age,
Yep.
everybody got a donut
Yeah.
hole.
I can still see Frank Goodsill standing there at the stove there, deep frying all the donuts and stuff.
Yeah, for a small shop, it did very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Well, we're coming to a close of Around Town, and it's been a pleasure, Chris, having you sit here with me and reminisce a little bit and about Concord then and now, and then, of course, as you get ready for the Kiwanis in a few weeks, the big fair will be here, and so we'll have you back on then. So
We're right around the corner.
I know, don't seem possible. Well, thanks so much to my director, Ian Marks, and once again, thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Dick Patten, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon on Around Town.